Last night, 60 Minutes did a story on Ohio and the steel industry. Ironically, they reported on Lorain, Ohio, where I have done numerous stories in the last couple of years. They found disgruntled workers who have seen their jobs shipped overseas and factories idled. Lorain, Ohio was the breadbasket of the steel industry and has been victim to bad trade deals that Trump often talks about. This is where Trump has gathered support, although the Steelworkers Union is making a strong case that Trump is a phony to workers. It came up in the last debate.
Donald has bought Chinese steel and aluminum. In fact, the Trump hotel right here in Las Vegas was made with Chinese steel. So he goes around with crocodile tears about how terrible it is, but he has given jobs to Chinese steel workers, not American steel workers.
The Steelworkers Union is working hard to get the real story out. They've reached 5 million people on Facebook. They have produced videos explaining Trump's poor record with workers, getting 2.5 million views. They call Trump the soft-handed boss. For more on this, let's turn to Leo Gerard, president of the Steelworkers International Union. Mr. Gerard, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be with you, Ed.
I'm sure you're aware of 60 Minutes' story last night, and I'd like to get your opinion. Was that a fair depiction of where steelworkers are in Ohio?
No, I was really disappointed with the CBS story. They had asked us to line up some workers that could give them their views, so we gave them a list of workers who were not committed to anybody. They didn't accept that list, and they went to a community college and found 6 people and put them on. So it was a pre-planned event. But let me say this. We've been talking to our members. We've been telling them the truth. And what we've been saying is, look at Donald Trump's record. First, he bought his clothing line from China and India and Bangladesh. Then he buys the furniture from his hotels from India, China, Bangladesh, El Salvador, even bought the Bible offshore. Then you come to the steel industry, and he's been bringing imported steel from China, imported aluminum from China, and he's disguised that by bringing it through the British Virgin Islands. So what we've been doing is going to talk to our members and saying, look, talk is cheap, and you got to look at this guy's record. Not only is he importing steel from China and aluminum from China, but he's saying workers make too much money. He's against workers' right to organize. He actually believes in right to work 100%, he said. So this is not a guy that we would trust with our future. Well, and then when you look at Hillary, Hillary has said she's going to have a trade prosecutor. And not only has she rejected the Trans-Pacific Partnership, but she said she's going to have a trade prosecutor, because without a trade prosecutor, Ed, we can't keep up with the trade violations.
Yeah. The mainstream media is presenting the case to the American people that the reason why it's close in Ohio is that union workers haven't decided where they're going to go. And that story last night that was produced by 60 Minutes left the impression that they are the linchpin to who wins Ohio. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think workers are an important segment of what we're going to do in Ohio. And let me tell you, as we talk to our members and explain to them the Trump philosophy of imported clothing, imported furniture line, sneaking steel and aluminum into the country through the British Virgin Islands that actually came from China, they're coming to understand that talk is cheap. And right now, I would think that there's a percentage of our membership that have always voted Republican, and there's a percentage this time that's not much different than that.
Would your members be voting against their own best interest if they were to go to Trump? I mean, that really is what it comes down to. And he has enamored a lot of these union workers because of what he has said about the TPP.
Look, I think the important thing is to tell our members who this guy is. Like I said, he could have brought that clothing line, all could have been made in Ohio, in fact. He could have brought his furniture line made in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana. He could have brought steel made in aluminum made in America. While he had the opportunity to do that, he brought everything offshore. He's not, the leper's not going to change his spots. This guy's a phony.
This has been a real big social media push by your organization. Is it working? Are you confident that it will work?
I'm confident that we're making an inroad, because you can tell by the amount of responses we get. When we started this, more than half the responses were negative. Now maybe 5–10% of the responses are negative, because people are seeing that this guy's a phony. He's a phony. And we've been through bankruptcies, as one of our videos say. A bankruptcy where Trump makes half a dozen bankruptcies and comes away with his pockets lined full of money. And how do you get to do that? You stiff the small contractor, and you stiff the workers on their pensions, and he's bragging that he's used bankruptcy as a business model. Our members in the steel industry know what bankruptcy's like, and they don't need another guy who makes his money by causing bankruptcies.
All right, Leo Gerard, President of Steelworkers International, and your Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/steelworkers and also see more of their work and research at youtube.com/steelworkers.